Guys, remember Lensa? I know it's so great that like I get to say remember Lensa. It was 2 weeks ago. It was such a flash in the pan bullshit thing. But Lensa, as disgusting as it is, kind of did us a huge favor. And the favor that Lensa did was to thrust this issue into the forefront, into the spotlight. Mainstream media has taken notice. Mainstream media has been covering this. I have seen absolutely huge YouTube creators like Marquise Brown Lee. He made a video about this and he kind of talked about how shitty it is. And that's fantastic. This video was from 4 days ago. 2 million views. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Article after article about Lensa, and they are talking about how it's built on stolen artwork. NBC News right here. That's pretty freaking mainstream. Moms and dads, regular people who are not generally paying attention to this conversation, they might see this. Now, they might skip over this because they're just not concerned about it, but it's there. It's being covered. It's so disheartening to wake up in the morning and see another video about how these things were getting normalized, about how artists' concerns were kind of being swept under the rug, how the big money movers behind these models just make move after move that's really duplicitous, very calculated, in best case giving artists some lip service, but in most cases just literally being like, screw you guys, we're democratizing art. You know, hedge fund managers are running. You know, do we even need to talk about the guy who the CEO or the whatever he is of Stable Diffusion was a hedge fund manager? Does that sound like a person who's super interested in the benefit of mankind? Just kind of call it what it is, the obvious thing. You know, the founder of Midjourney is a self-described serial entrepreneur. These aren't artists. These are people who want to make money, and they haven't really given a shit about artists and their concerns here. But things have been changing, as I've been loving to say in some of my recent videos, where I have been covering the good news in this matter. But today has just been absolutely, absolutely beautiful. I don't know what else to call this except a artist protest. And what better place to do this than on Artstation? Now, they should absolutely do this on DeviantArt. I should probably take a minute and look. DeviantArt put its just clown shoes AI portal on there, and they got completely flamed and destroyed on Twitter. They did it anyway. You know, fuck them. But here we have it. Just, you know, when I scroll too hard, it makes the video feed of my hideous face get all jumpy and weird. It's a little jarring. But when I tell you that this goes down for longer than I can actually scroll, you just got to take my word for it. And artists who were previously, you know, I'm talking about bigger artists, I'm not going to name any names, who were kind of on the fence or were kind of using these tools, and just at the end of the day, I don't think they understood the issue, right? What the problem was. Like, they were listening to emotional responses, but now everybody's getting on board because the information is out there. And I'm so proud of everybody for keeping your voices heard, for speaking up, for telling your friends, for posting about this. When I woke up this morning, I just scrolled a little bit while I was dropping the kids off in the pool, and there it was. I'm just seeing this on artists who I respect, whose work I admire. They're like, yeah, absolutely fuck this. Just say no. Let's get an ethical model. If there was a question, and this is something that we've talked about in the Discord, like, would Artstation go the DeviantArt route? And honestly, you know, there's not a lot that gives me faith, right? Companies make absolutely tone-deaf and thick-headed moves, but Clip Studio Paint listened to their user base recently, and that was fantastic, and they actually apologized and made some good points. Now, whether they believe those points or not, I don't know, but they said the right things, which means they are at least aware of the right things, right? So when we talk about Artstation, would they introduce a tone deaf and ridiculous AI generative portal on their website, on their community hub? Look, I wish this conversation was different. I wish I could look at the wonder instead of the plunder. Do you know what I mean? Like, to focus on just how remarkable the machine, the inner workings, like the code, not the data sets, not the way that greedy pieces of garbage go about running these models, but the actual code. It's actually quite remarkable, and it has some very potentially devastating implications, but it's interesting. And most artists that I know, we absolutely love sci-fi. We love progress. We love new tools. No matter how many times AI proponents want to label artists who are against this as Luddites, which is completely laughable, just beyond laughable. We love this type of shit. But again, I'd rather focus on the wonder instead of the plunder. But you can see the sentiment is shifting, and there's kind of hope. If the question was, would Artstation incorporate one of these AI portals into their website, granted Epic Games, Microsoft AI, given this protest by artists, which really you can't call it anything other than a protest, and a beautiful one at that, I can't imagine in any way how they could even begin to justify doing something like that. Now, Adobe is a different story, and that's kind of a mixed bag. I've kind of compared it to like a beautiful back rub from a fucking chainsaw. It's like their messaging is so mixed. Like, we're doing this content authentication thing, but we're also incorporating an AI tool into Photoshop, as well as allowing AI material into Adobe stock. It's a little confusing, and they've been kind of vague about it, and we'll probably do a separate video on that as I get more information. But I've been only wanting to cover the good stuff because it gets a little bleak, and we have been getting more good news, and it's actually allowed me to step back a little bit, right? Granted, again, we have like 500 followers. Nobody gives a shit about my channel. In the beginning, I was one of a few voices that was like, this is ridiculous. But more and more people, if you search for like AI bad or data laundering or Lion 5B data set in AI art on YouTube, it's just now there's so much more people speaking out. And it's just absolutely fantastic. So I want to wrap this up just by saying to all the artists on Artstation who have joined in this protest, I absolutely applaud every single one of you. It's no time to get complacent. We're just getting started, but I'm optimistic. I think there's going to be more good news on the horizon, and I don't want to say this is a fight, right? I want to say this is a fight we can win, but in a way, it's a fight. It's a fight for our rights. It's a fight to advocate for ourselves. And the crazy thing about this is that artists, in a way, are the front line in standing up against these predatory business models. And if we can create a significant change, well, that change will affect every other industry as AI or algorithmic tools are rolled out in other industries and start to affect people's livelihoods. And in a way, artists, looked at through that light, are the most unlikeliest of heroes. I mean, you've heard it a million times, like, not all heroes wear capes. And I'm sorry, I know it's the sheer fucking hubris to say that artists, like, we're heroes. Don't take that the wrong way. But we are standing up. And look, at the end of the day, either you stand for something or you absolutely fall for anything. And I'm so proud of everybody. And let's just keep it going, guys. Let's keep it going. Great job. That's it. I will see you guys in the wars to come. Peace.